Welcome to Daggers and Shadow Daddies.
We're your hosts, Ryan and Adriana. Close your legs and open your book. Let's get to reading.
Warning, this podcast contains explicit content.
It's about to get nasty.
It's all vibes and no facts.
Let's get to spoiling.
Wait, no, these are spoiler-free episodes.
Not the way I do it.
The last thing that we ended on was when she got captured by the Knights for knocking out those three men for creeping on those girls. And then they're having this whole conversation of, why were you doing it? And the last note that I have is, I have disdain, but none for you, from Rory to her. Yeah.
I like the gargoyles part of that.
Yeah.
He's like, I am not only an assailant, but a prolific thief. I was only caught 3 times.
And then Moth showed up and she's like, you need to wash your ass.
Let's get some shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it ended on. And we were wrong on so many things. You were kind of right on what you wished for, that you wanted more of a Popper and the Princess vibe. We learned in this last batch of chapters that he is not royalty or knight. Like, what is it called?
We don't really know much about him other than he's a foundling.
Yes.
He's not, but I did say he would not be the ruler of this kingdom.
Oh, you still stand by this?
Potentially. I don't know. There's a whole nother book.
True. I was thinking you're right that he is not similar to all the other knights.
So far, he's not rich.
Yeah.
Which I really like.
Yeah, but he is
But he's
buff.
throwing around money like he's rich. He's giving people money.
Maybe it just doesn't have the same meaning to him.
Yeah, that wouldn't make him not rich.
True.
I don't know. I'm dubious of him still.
I was really struggling with understanding the why in this last bit of chapters of why the fake omen heads as gods, why drowning the girls, what is the purpose? And just an hour ago, thankfully, somebody in the book club replied to my comment saying it's for money.
Yeah.
That's the abbess is doing all of this for money.
Well, power.
Yes, exactly. Power and money.
Yes.
And we learned the oarsman, he has so much gold, so much coin. He doesn't even want to use it. He wants to measure time with how much he has.
Yeah, he's hoarding it, which is kind of what rich people do. At a certain point, like if you've got $1 billion, if you have more than 1 billion, you're just hoarding it. There's nothing you can do with 20 billion that you can't billion.
And that's where the abbess must have it all of the money, and then she distributes it plus some spring water every so often is what I'm getting from this batch to the omens to ensure that they keep playing this role that she wants them to play.
I think they also want to play that role. Remember, they were doing battle before the abbess was a thing. They wanted money and control.
Yeah.
And then they quit doing battle because they were each given power.
Right.
And they were each kind of given a domain, basically. But the abbess oversees all of them.
So before we get into the chapters, what do you think of the abbess and her mission in all of this? Her showing up. She was already eternal to some degree with what she found. Why share it with them?
I don't think she's really sharing it. I think she's weaponized other people. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I think knights and stuff, it's kind of the purpose of why do kings have dukes?
I don't know.
Well, because you can't manage everybody as one individual. You need people. You need a hierarchy. You need district managers. You need store managers. You need shift managers. Like you can't just, the CEO of a company couldn't have everybody below them on the same plane.
Right. Yeah, because it's almost like she built a religion.
Yeah, she was probably the first one to drown in the spring.
I don't even think it was that, because when she showed up to meet them, she had a little foundling with her when she showed up to see them. And then I re-listened to this. I found it shocking that the 5 craftsmen drank of the spring water and they had the dreams. They had these, I don't know, trippy dreams, and all they did was drink it. And so then I put in the group of, why drown them? Like, why the whole thing of drowning the girls? And the best answer that I was able to kind of get from everyone's thoughts is it's the power of, showing that you can only get these dreams in this way. And the girls weren't dying anyways.
I think that's possible. I think it's also just kind of flavoring them as it goes. I stand by the purpose of these diviners. When they're done divining, after 10 years, they're ready.
I think you're right.
I think that's the big idea.
The oarsman said a couple comments about how she showed up on her own, not like the treasures of Ashley. And I'm like, do you also include the diviners as that? It was weird. But overall, I wanted to touch on Rory is not a secret king, but he is different by being a foundling compared to the knights. And because he is a foundling, he was a thief and he worked for, is it the Ardent one?
The Humble Barrager.
That one.
It's not really that person's name.
No, it's like Ardent something, I thought.
No, it's the Ardent Oarsman.
Oh, dang it. I can't get their names right. But it doesn't matter. That was the reason behind why he stole the stylus and why he pickpocketed Maud. He enjoys stealing, but he wasn't really stealing. Like, I think that was part of the character of he stole the stylus, yes, but then he didn't. He just set it down.
Well, to be fair, he did steal it.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't return it to the same guy.
Give it back.
Yeah. The guy's like, oh, don't forget your pen. He's like, thanks.
And then pickpocketing Maud as just for fun. I think that was like laying down the groundwork of he is different and he has this past of needing to fend for himself.
Yeah, he's clearly damaged.
Oh.
Well, anybody that just steals for fun, you're a little damaged. But that's okay. The funny thing is he's kind of like a Robin Hood-like character in the sense of he takes from people, but then he doesn't give back to the same people. He just gives it to other people.
He's giving it to a king, so, I mean...
Fair enough.
What do you think about that, where the king is open about wanting to follow in his grandfather's footsteps and take all of them? I didn't really hear much about what he's going to do.
To take up the mantle?
Yeah. What do you think about all that?
I think it's awesome. I think it actually plays more into Maud than it does the king. Because Maud was respected. The king wasn't. Maud had to come in and lend credence to him as a legitimate heir. In the knights elect a king, the way that the king selection works is different. It's not just through blood.
Oh, yeah, that was confusing. He had to kind of prove himself there a little bit.
Yeah, they said he was elected.
Yeah.
The knights elected him king.
And I think what I got from it is Maud cast the first stone at Grandpa King in order to help with the mission overall. By her doing that added validity to her name. Yeah,
so Grandpa said we should probably start from further back because otherwise
we should just get into our chapters when going into that.
Get into this.
I wanted to touch on two other things. Someone mentioned that Fig reminds them of Roach in The Witcher.
That's the horse's name. It's not Lisa.
No, it's Fig. Yes, the horse's name is Fig. But any type of Witcher reference, I'm in love. And comparing him to Roach is amazing.
What is it about Roach that we get the similarity from?
I think that they're both just kind of their own little, they don't listen to their owner. They just kind of are stubborn. And especially when playing the game, I think part of Roach's character, not necessarily just in the show, but in the game was I don't think the word graphics, the gameplay with the horse was challenging, and it was fun to just blame it on the horse's personality when it would just go and do dumb things, or when Roach was too far away and you tried calling him and he would just lackadaisically just kind of show up and probably even give up halfway, but it was more game problems than it was
I'm pretty sure that's the way we were playing the game. Not an inherent character trait.
Well, it must have been something because they even wrote it
Somebody
into...
else even got it.
Yeah, but I haven't read the books yet. I've fallen asleep to them many times. Actually listened to them fully. I don't know if it's written in there that Roach's personality is also like that.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'd be curious. And to be fair, I really like that comparison because it's one of like two horses that I'm aware of. So I'm going to run with that one.
And I also no longer think that her eyes are white. I now think that her eyes are stone.
I think you could be right.
Do you have any thoughts on it?
No, I think that could be it.
Yeah.
I think that's what the book's leading us into. Some part of you is stone. Which part of her would be unseen by everyone else?
And I even think Rory knows, and he just isn't telling her.
How would he know?
Because she's drinking the spring water.
I think he's curious.
The way he just just wants to rip it off and see.
No, I think a part of that is just wanting to see somebody's eyeballs. Especially when you get into this and he's super attracted to her, but he's never seen her eyes. Imagine if whoever you were really interested in wore sunglasses everywhere.
Okay, that would be very
Eventually,
annoying.
you'd be like, please take off the goddamn sunglasses.
I would assume that they are like possessed of some kind of like red eyes or something. Like,
I would
why are
assume
you
they're
hiding them?
blind.
Oh,
They'd
yeah.
be walking around like Ray Charles.
Setting things in front of them, see if they avoid it.
Just try to trip them a little bit, see if they step over it. Don't do that with blind people.
No, don't do that. But I'm pretty sure people did do that to Ray Charles. And that's where I don't even think he was hiding it. That it was just legal blindness.
You're thinking of Stevie Wonder.
Yes, I am, because I remember seeing this video and they were just like, he's actually not blind. It's like, well, yes, he is.
He's effectively blind.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
because
he's
they're
not
like,
Ray Charles blind.
okay, so one of them
Ray
is,
Charles was like real blind.
well, they're all real blind.
No, I mean like Ray Charles, his eyes are open or closed. I think it was probably the same thing.
Okay.
He was very, very blind. Stevie
Overall.
Wonder can't get a driver's license, but he can see something moving in front of him.
Okay, yeah, because that's where I saw this whole thing and then seeing the argument in the comments of what's legally blind and what's this. I'm like, I didn't in no way think this man was faking anything. And it was ridiculous that people were just like, my life is a lie type of energy.
I love that people will be this committed all to Stevie Wonder. They're like, he's very superstitious.
But wait, what?
It's a Stevie Wonder song.
No, it went
all
over
good.
my head. And then I also wanted to say that I think last time I made a comment thinking that she is looking for the girls as if they ran away. And she's asking, have you seen these diviners? Have you seen them? As if they ran away and they happen to all be going to these locations.
Do you think she's in denial or do you think she's dumb?
Well, I think I was being dumb. She's going to, because I couldn't figure out why would she agree with the king to go to these locations if you thought that they ran away? Why would they be running this far away? That doesn't make any sense.
Perhaps they've been abducted.
That's what it is. I think she thinks that they've been taken. And she even says this. She said this to the abbess. She's like, I don't think they ran away. She's like, oh, silly girl. Yes, they have. So she thinks they've been taken and she's trying to see whoever took her, where did you take them, and asking all these locations.
I love that they're en route, though, and nobody so far has seen these diviners.
None of
that
them.
alone should have given her a hint. Like, I don't think so. I don't think they made it this far.
Well, even just seeing them, because if the gargoyles are transporting the coin to the omens, I would assume maybe the girls are being flown around.
Yeah, or snuck there in ways, but I feel like, yeah, she's not a detective at this point. She's sheltered.
She's trying her best.
Yeah.
Well, I also think that the way that they were taken is some type of invisibility thing, like the coin, the ore, like that type of deal. I think the girls were taken that way, and wherever they are now, they were transported that way also.
Okay, I see where you're coming from with that.
Because we've seen enough magic to know that something like that.
I don't think they ever left the cathedral.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think they were just taken immediately and sacrificed, and I find it odd that she was like, we should probably search those grounds a little more thoroughly.
Yeah, or they're in some type of cell or prison waiting to be sacrificed
Potentially.
on the last day of the 10 years.
If there was a prison there, though, she would know about it, right?
I don't think so, because the gargoyle, who ideally has been there longer and has seen turnover of girls being there, didn't even know about the other gargoyles transporting coins.
That's true. Well, he said it wasn't me.
They caught me on the counter.
Yeah, he went with the Shaggy defense. He didn't say, I didn't know anything about this.
Okay.
He said, I wasn't a part of that.
All right.
Which, depending on how you want to take it, I love the gargoyle. But I think knowing how he communicates, we could be receiving less than complete information.
You're right. He is pretty cryptic in his verbiage.
Yeah, sometimes he's cryptic and other times he's oddly specific. He's the best character ever.
A lot of people were comparing him to Olaf also. What do you think of that?
So I can see where they draw that comparison. When I think of Olaf is fun because he's really ignorant, but he's young. Right, like he's a snowman who was immediately given sentience. So he's kind of a baby. He's learning. The gargoyle is old. He's been around a long time, but it shows the information that he wasn't given. And I think he may have a learning disability.
Oh.
Well, just in the way that he takes things sometimes. I'm like, oh, okay.
I guess I just thought it's like the...
Welfare, farewell, I don't know.
No. More of a Yellow Brick Road. What am I thinking?
Oh, you're thinking he's the straw The
without a
scarecrow.
brain. Yeah, like that type of idea because he's made of stone.
Okay, all right. But he's not dumb.
No.
That's the thing. Like, he gives us our first nugget of wisdom in the book. He gives it to Fig, but still. We got it.
The horse.
Yeah, but we got it. Don't believe anything in rhyme. It's all nonsense. Like, he's just amazing. Sorry, back to where you were.
No, that's good. Those are all the points that I really wanted to touch on that after we got through our chapters, these are things that I realized either how wrong or maybe we're going down the right path a little bit with something's up with her eyes, something's going on with Rory, things like that. I also have some trivia questions. There was so much in this batch of chapters that I will drop them right here and we'll most likely answer them as we start going through our chapters. Approximately how many years ago did the 5 craftsmen come together to find a leader? What is the name of the mountain range that they go visit or that they're headed to? What do mountain sprites eat? And that's all that I have. I think that I had plans of just looking through the notes and coming up with more. But chapter 13, this was huge. So much information. It was a lot of history that we get from the boy king's grandfather's journal.
Benji's grandpa's journal.
There we go. I couldn't remember his name. Benji. So Maud brought 6 clothes, but she decided to only wear her diviner dress. And I realized when listening to this that I imagine it like a muumuu dress.
That's exactly what I imagine. Just a relatively thin muumuu.
Yeah.
It's flowy.
Yeah. There was a young woman on TikTok and she's in a muumuu and she's like, if this has worked for my grandma and my grandma's grandma, it can work for me. And no shame. It was just her wearing that and a bonnet and going to bed. And I thought it was really cute. So anyways, she decided she didn't want to wear the other clothes. She's still attached to her own dress. And then she meets with the king and he gives her the rundown from his grandpa's notebook while the gargoyle slept. And I'm pretty sure that the gargoyle wanted a blanket to cover up his eyes.
He did.
And multiple times we learned that he gets cranky if he doesn't get his sleep.
I like how casual he is.
How
like
so?
With the king, where he immediately gets walked to that room. He's like, they fucking woke me up. He's like, yeah, well, we gotta go talk to the king. He's like, whatever. They open the door and he sees the bed and he's like, fuck yeah, I'm going to bed. And he goes and plops down and they're like, no. You don't belong there. He's like, fine, whatever. They're like, sit in a chair. And he grabs a blanket off of there, grabs a throw and throws it over himself and then just goes to bed in the chair.
And he's like snoring throughout all of this. And it's just really cute because I even think that the way that they're talking to each other was intended to not wake him up.
Yeah, I think that they kind of just treat him as though he's not there.
Yeah.
The king is very nervous, I might add. I like that.
He's nervous, I'm assuming, because he's going to ask her to join them. Like, it benefits him having this meeting with her, not just for her benefit.
I agree, and I think he's presenting information that is known to be very harmful if disseminated.
Yes.
So I think that he has some reason to be nervous, and he's young, but he starts drinking immediately because it's 5 o'clock somewhere.
I didn't catch that.
Oh yeah, no, he got progressively more drunk.
Oh, that's so
funny. And that's
funny.
why he gets way more chilled out as he's talking. Plus, he gets confidence while he's reading the journal.
Oh, that's so funny. I didn't pick that up. So all of the objects can transport and destruct. It was approximately 230 years ago that a merchant, a scribe, an oarsman, a forester, and a weaver, and finally when it was this chapter, a weaver, it clicked what a loom stone is. It's a loom for weaving.
Dream weaver. I think we'll call it Gary Wright.
I think nearly every single book we've read has a weaver in it.
Gary Wright exists in most forms.
Because I thought a loom stone, I think there is the luminescent stone in Breath of the Wild. So I thought it was like that type of stone.
Yeah. In Breath of the Wild, it's called luminous stone.
There we go. Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm just picturing like a type of stone that was glowing and I didn't know what a loom stone was until I'm like, oh.
Like a loom.
A loom. And then the 6th one we learn is the current abbess. And she showed up with a foundling. And they all drank the water and they had these dreams. And she created their objects with a hammer and chisel from the limestone that the water is running off of. I'm assuming this limestone, which is the same thing the gargoyles are made out of, is what's giving them these acid trips from drinking the water and giving them long life.
Ooh, there you go. That could be. Maybe it's not a water thing. Maybe it's a stone thing.
Oh my God. It's making me think of, I don't know what company it is right now. They're selling somebody's bath water as a soap.
The internet girl?
Yeah,
This was
there's
like a
been
few
multiples.
years ago, right?
No, this is a new one. Now they're using that same
They're
logic.
still just peddling people's bath water?
It's another famous, beautiful woman working, I think, with Old Spice. I could be completely wrong on all these details. So ideally, what they're doing is using the bath water to create soap. Where I'm connecting
Is this
all
Gwyneth Paltrow?
No, but it does sound like that type of energy where she had those weird ass candles.
Well, I don't know if it's weird. I'm not here to yuck anybody's yum, but if you want a Gwyneth Paltrow vagina-scented candle.
Gross. But if the gargoyles are made of limestone and it's this water.
It's gargoyle bath water. Yes.
Gargoyle bath water that's keeping them young and living. Well, not young, but keeping them alive. And that's why they're turning into stone. They're slowly turning into gargoyles.
Maybe that's why the diviners only get 10 years. Maybe the first thing to go is your eyes. Turn into stone.
Yeah.
And if these guys are slowly drinking the bath water, they're not drinking as much as the diviners are.
Fair, because they're very desperate for it, but she gets it multiple times a week.
Yeah, so she would turn to stone quicker than they will.
But I'm assuming it's like a magical type of turning to stone, obviously, but I mean in the sense of her weight, because
there's no scale. She's very strong, too, which is weird.
Is she strong, or is it the hammer and chisel are magical?
No, I think she's known to be very strong. She picked up Rory and threw him.
Okay, yeah.
And he brings up all the time. He's like, you're not very fast, but you're really strong.
But if you were to pick me up, you would know if part of me was made of stone.
Well, yeah, but it would take a lot of parts of somebody to be made of stone, depending on the stone and the density. But yeah, I think I wouldn't be able to tell if your eyeballs were stone or if you just had keys in your pocket.
I just didn't know if there would be, like, her bones are turning to stone. Her eyes are turning to stone.
Sure, yeah. If her bones were suddenly turned to stone, she would be very heavy. But they never bring up her weight, which is good.
They did one time when he picked her up to move her over the glass or the mirror that was broken, and it was effortless. So that's...
Well, yeah, because he's so strong and she's featherweight.
She's like a little feather. She's not turning into stone, only her eyes. That's all we got.
That's all we got.
So anyways, they drank the water, and that's what made me question, these craftsmen drank the water and they were able to dream, so why drown the girls?
Again, I stand by what I said earlier. I think it's flavoring or something is my guess.
Yeah. And it's also here that I think the hammer and chisel that she stole is what was used to make these objects, and the hammer and chisel are also magical.
I agree.
Then we learn that the Grandpa King finds Rory as a foundling working for the Artful Brigand.
Can we call him Papa Castor?
What does that mean?
Castor was his name, his last name.
Oh, okay. Papa Castor, I like it.
Yeah, but he's an old, because otherwise Old King Castor kind of sounds like we're mad at him.
No, I think that's great that you were paying attention. You picked up the names. I barely even have Benji's name. It's just in one ear, out the other, and I already forgot. And I'm assuming that Papa Castor bribed Rory with becoming a knight. There's a name for like kids that train to become knights. I'm assuming that he bribed him with that and that type of future in exchange for stealing the coin.
I think Rory was probably mistreated.
He was mistreated.
And I think all he had to do was be kind of kind. I don't think he really had to bribe Rory. He's like, hey, we can bring your suffering to an end.
Fair. I think that's right. And we also learned that the omens were paid by the abbess, and she gave them water in order to live long. And they've been alive for obviously 200 plus years now. After the whole discussion about Rory and how they took the coin, we then learn about Grandpa...
Papa Castor.
Yeah, Papa Castor working with Maud and Maud's skills. And it was actually Maud who defeated the fateful forester. But the chime is still missing. They don't have that. They killed off the forester, but they didn't get the chime, the stone chime.
Yeah, and that brings up questions.
Like, where is it?
Yeah, who has it?
Yeah, I imagine it was just sitting somewhere in the forest, and that they should have probably figured that out before they defeated the forester.
I think that would have been an important detail. It makes me think that whoever they defeated was not the forester.
Oh. Well, they mentioned how ugly the forester was. It was actually kind of a cruel description. It was like, I think, a woman who was just like so hideous.
Just really, really ugly.
Really
Marie
nasty
Laveau.
woman. And it was after going through all of that, obviously Papa Kouser's plan is coming into view of all of the knights, and the knights turned on him, and he requested that Maud be the first one to do it in order to have this whole plan work out later. So Maud...
When he found out that he was going to be forced to endure divination.
Oh, was that it?
Mm-hmm. Yep, he was forced to go endure divination at Astling Cathedral, and then...
He got the same 5 bad omens.
Correct. And then he was stoned on property. And he's like, Maud. She's like, I'm not going to leave your side. He's like, yeah, you are. He's like, otherwise nobody's going to trust anything. He's like, you need to stay on the up and up. Fucking take me out, homie.
So then I have in my notes, is she partially made of stone? I think so. Did Rory notice when lifting her? I don't think so.
Not even a little bit. Rory's very strong, and she has featherstone. She's made of aerogel.
Then I have, why does the abbess benefit from having omens and diviners? And I think we touched on that. It's for power. And then Benji asks her to travel with him for mutual benefits. She can continue to look for her diviners, and he could have her blessing in his travels, so then people aren't questioning what he's doing.
And this is after he breaks down everything. Like, it was a long breakdown. I don't want to sell it short. It was really well done. And he kept introducing information to her while paying attention to how she was receiving it. It was probably one of the most well-written, just pure exposition chapters we've ever had.
And how well it was kind of thrown in there that he has a journal with all this information and he's fact-checking it. Not only did he go get a divination to steal the spring water, he also mentioned the details in the abbess's retelling of the history. He's like, 230 some years ago, that lines up with what not only is in the journal, but with what the abbess said and when she's retelling things.
Yeah, he did a good job because he drew parallels and then showed where it diverged from the stories and stuff that she had and led her into it slowly enough that she could kind of accept what was going on. And if they hadn't already fought the scribe, there's no way she would have been able to take this information.
No, I don't think so.
So the timing was perfect. It all was amazing.
And she doesn't give him an answer. She just kind of sits with it, lets him go. She leaves. Then she goes and watches the knights fight.
He basically says, you have until tomorrow morning.
Yeah, because they're leaving town, so you better decide.
Yeah, she's like, can I think about it? He's like, yeah, think about it. He's like, we leave tomorrow morning. It was a very powerful way of saying, yeah, you can sleep on it, but we're not going to fuck around back and forth for weeks.
Yeah. And she's watching Rory fighting, and she can tell who he is just by the way his body is moving, the way he stands, the way he's doing everything.
He was in the middle of a fight.
Yeah, he was.
I don't know how she would recognize that.
I don't know.
I think he just looks like him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pointing out here, some of this is absurd nonsense to me. The way he moves while getting punched in the face is so Rory.
And Hamlin, the guy that she was going to go sleep in the grass with, he came up and talked to her. And he was asking for a second chance. He's like, trust me, like, I can do better.
He's like, if you give me a second run, I won't fuck it up by talking.
Yeah. And then Rory shows up and he's all imposing and he tells him to leave.
Yeah, he doesn't like him at all. He's very jealous.
Yeah. I like it.
Oh, okay. All right.
I like how this was done. It wasn't a type of jealousy, like possessive jealousy. It was like, you're a dirtbag, get away from her.
See, and to me, it came off more like, this is my diviner.
Ooh.
Not for you.
I don't know.
It came off more possessive to me.
And then they maintained eye contact for a long time. And I like how she writes it. It was just holding eye contact.
Yeah. Sustained.
Yes. Shameless plug between chapters.
Want more daggers and shadow daddies? Get a month ahead of where you're at right now. Sign up for 1 month on Patreon and then cancel that shit after you binged it.
That was great.
I listen to a lot of podcasts. I know how their advertisements work, and this is what I wish they did. It was only 5 seconds long.
Then into chapter 14, Six meets up with Rory in like this blacksmith room. There's probably an actual proper name for where they're at. I don't know.
I think it's an armory.
Yeah. And he's there to get measurements, I don't know, for himself. And then he just...
For her.
For her. Okay. I thought she just kind of showed up. He's like, actually, this is a great time. We need to do this anyways. No, it sounds like it was all planned. He's heating up the beeswax and he starts putting it all over her.
Well, okay, hold on. You jumped so many steps. She's still wearing her diviner outfit.
Yes.
He's like, hey, heads up. I'm something of a seamstress, so I'm going to have to make this form-fitting. Not all this extra flowy moo-moo nonsense you have going on. She's like, that's fine. He's like, well, it's going to fuck up your robe. She's like, it's fine. I'm ready. Wax me, boy. And he does it. He does his seamster work on her dress.
Cutting and sewing.
He's tugging things back and he's feeling her legs and her booty cheeks and stuff.
I don't think he puts it on her ass.
What do you mean? He's trimming things around it.
Oh, yeah,
so
definitely.
So he needs to make sure that everything's laying flat.
Yep.
And then he coats her in the wax, one thin layer at a time.
Yes.
And he's like, okay, now, arms sticking out. Do you know the Christmas story?
Yes.
The little boy, when he's wearing so many coats and his arms can't move? That's how I imagine she's kind of walking around for just a minute. He's like, we're going to take it off very delicately. But then she gets a little bit turned on, her nipples get hard, and it pushes it off.
No, he never even puts it there. He puts nothing on her.
How is she being fitted for armor if she doesn't have wax all over?
Oh, great question. Because this is where your side of the story is coming into play, but someone must have just ignored it.
Maud. I forgot about Maud.
Damn. Maud puts it on the sensitive areas.
Yeah, but I forgot about that. Yeah, but he left everything but the nips.
No.
It's just little windows to her soul.
The entire breastplate section was left alone. He did the front of her thighs, I think her calves. I don't think he did her ass.
Is that not sexual to you?
It is sexual because obviously
He's rubbing all up on them thighs.
Yeah, he was blushing even at one point.
He turned her diviner robe into a pantsuit.
I have a quote at some point when he's putting this on here. They're having a discussion and she's just being an asshole is how I'm taking it. And he says, you don't like me when I'm a bad night and you don't like me when I'm a good one.
Yeah, which we could put this more simply. She just doesn't fucking like you. Right?
She says that. She's like, have you ever considered I don't like you?
I know. And he's like, that can't be it. It's got to be something else.
Never considered it.
I'm tall and charming and humble and fun.
I am amazing.
It's a shame that you don't have good taste in people. Muhahaha.
And I also forgot until someone said it in the book club for this chapter that she's not able to move.
Right, she's the little boy in the coat.
Yeah, and she's mouthing off to him and having this whole conversation. She needs to stay still and frozen and her arms stuck out.
And there's a lot of, I wonder about the breathing.
Well, he didn't do the chest, so it doesn't matter.
No, but I mean, eventually, right? Like, it has to be done. And if we've learned anything from our diviner, she doesn't shut the fuck up.
Is this really how they fit somebody for a suit? Like a night
Back
thing?
in the day?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. I would assume it would be the best way to mold things to the purse.
That would make sense. I never considered it. I thought this was just written in to be a sexy, hot beeswax scene.
Lightly dripping on her.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Yeah, that's fair.
So he covers her in beeswax. He calls her out for wanting to be the best, like the best diviner, better than everyone else, but you don't have to be the best in order to get love. For example, from the abbess, the only way to get any love or affection, that motherly figure that she wanted from her, was most likely trying to be the best diviner. And he's calling it out of, you don't have to be in order to be loved.
And also, she didn't really get love.
No.
She reflects on that too, and she's like, she gave me just enough so that I could feel any semblance of kindness was actually very sweet.
And then he trims her dress, and he's on his knees, putting the wax on her. And
with his tongue.
And she calls him out for blushing. And he calls her bluff. When she calls him out on his blushing, he's like, you know what? Fuck it. Do it yourself. The rest of this, Maud can do it. And he leaves.
Which I think is, again, a great shining moment for Rory. Quit dealing with her bullshit.
Yeah, so he says, I think you like putting me in my place. Like feeling like you're better than me. And then he walks off. And this is in my note. Maud does the rest. And
And
if there
Maud
was,
puts it on the old pelvic plate with her mouth. No?
but if there was going to be fan fiction, I think you actually could write it off as her and Maud.
Yeah, what do you mean could?
You could.
That's how this book is written.
Because Maud brought her clothes, Maud helped her with getting shoes, Maud helped her with getting...
First one in the hallway, the meet cute.
Yeah.
It's just a sexy night lady.
Chapter 15. Before they go to the oarsmen, because that's kind of like their main goal, is getting the next stone object. But before they do that, they're going to the fervent peaks. And they
Which is another name for Maud's titties.
Oh my God, no. They have to meet the royal family, Benji's family, and do this little baptism thing for him.
What? No, I thought it was just a group of nobles that were confirming him as king.
Yeah, and they
I didn't think it was
him.
Benji's family.
Well, his mom was there.
Well, I'm sure to witness the baptism.
Yeah.
But is that?
I think it was just royal people.
I may be misunderstood. Okay.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I thought it was nobles.
It was.
Entirely.
It was, yeah.
Okay. All right.
And they show up there, and that's when Rory and Six leave as Benji is getting baptized in the water for like an hour. And he's like...
A lot of sins to flush out of this boy.
Yeah, he's like sitting in the cold water. And she's pointing out how small and boyish he is and all of these things. I'm like, hopefully Benji doesn't read this book because this is a little rude.
She's so fucking mean and she's so entitled.
Yeah, she is a little high horse about it. But I think that is what's been fed to her for the last 10, quote unquote, 10 years.
See, I'm loving this book. But she's the least likable character in this book. Well, I shouldn't say character, period. The oarsman seems to be a bit of a prick. But
another creep.
Yeah, this is kind of it. Is I think like the bad guys are clearly bad guys, but she provides this great platform for all of the other characters to be more likable. Because Rory comes off like an awesome character, partially because we're comparing him against the backdrop of her and the interactions that they're having. He's always more sensitive to her needs than she is to his. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're right.
The gargoyle
I can see that.
is doing things for her, not for himself. Like there's all of these different things playing into it. She's very judgmental of every other character in this book. She thinks the gargoyle's a dummy. She thinks Rory's a prick. She thinks the king's a bitch.
Yeah.
Maud's the only character that she doesn't think super negatively of after the first 6 chapters. But when she initially meets Maud even, and she's very rude, she's like, ooh, I almost thought I was rude. And then I remembered she's a fucking knight and I'm a diviner.
Oh,
Like,
I don't remember that. Yeah. Well, and I think she's getting to the point that she is slowly treating everyone like her equal, but it is really pretentious of her to not at the start. But I mean, what's been fed to her this whole time, but she is looking to Maud's opinion of her when it comes to the end of these chapters.
We're going to see character growth from her, and I like that. She's not completely fleshed out. She's not done at the beginning of the story. I'm just saying the draw to this book so far for me has nothing to do with her. Like there's the mystery aspect, but she's not bringing anything to the table for me.
Just Rory and the gargoyle?
Yeah, she is the mechanism by which the things I do care about are happening.
Okay, I see that.
And I look for that to change as we move through the book, and I kind of like it.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. In chapter 15, I have the noble family ceremony for Benji. They have to do that first, then they can go find the oarsmen. We learned that Maud and Rory's relationship is that he was a squire, and that's the name of like young boys becoming knights. And
They're
she
the
trained him.
Servant to the knight.
Yes, there we
That's
go.
how it works. Yep.
Yeah, and that is how he got into the knighthood.
Yes,
And-
through Maud.
Yes. I think that's how it kind of goes together. And I think there's a mention from Six to Maud of her motherly figure to Rory and Benji. And she's like, yeah, I guess I don't really have any motherly things about me, but she does care about them and want to protect them.
She's not ultimately nurturing,
There we go. Yeah.
but she is motherly. She cares deeply, and she seems to be guiding them kind of through things. I think it's really cool because you have these tiers of maturity that are kind of being showcased right? You have Maud at the top end of this, who's been around for what? We assume Maud's in her 40s?
I was just going to say that. I think she is older than I assumed. If you have Rory at 26 and Benji at 17, and Rory to be a squire, I think that's 9-10 years old. When I did a very brief Google search and saw the images, and they look like 9 to 10-year-old sizes. I didn't actually look up the ages.
Sure.
They just looked about that height. So yeah.
It's the height of a 9 or a 10-year-old.
It looked like a child, not a teen, but also not very young toddler, not 6-year-old.
Right. But I enjoy that you have her level of maturity and her experience. And you also have this diary that provides you more wisdom. On top of that, as a tool being interpreted by somebody who's young and still has all of the energy of, I can change the world. I don't think you could have the king be somebody in his mid-20s.
No, and there's this line, and I don't know if I have it written, but later, Maud is talking to Benji about Six going up against the oarsmen. He's like, yeah, I think she could do it. Or maybe it was, does she know that it's life or death? Like, this is a really big deal. And Maud turns to Benji. It's like, of course you would say this because me and Rory are the ones who would do your killing for you.
We can do the dying for you.
Yes. Yeah. I know I butchered that, but it was something in that scene and it was so good. And it was such a great take of, she didn't even say it as upset about the situation because she would do that for Benji with no questions. But it was a mind your place, Benji. Like, you obviously
it was informative in teaching him.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't considering that her position in life is different than his.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have, what's his name? Rory. Rory seems to be relatively streetwise, but he's not yet been beaten down to the point where he has no ambition. He's young enough to still be ambitious, but old enough to not be foolish.
And as we're talking, I think it adds a lot of weight into Maud thinking that Six can't do it versus Rory saying that he thinks she can, because Maud is really coming from a place of experience and very little bias compared to Rory. He's like, yeah, I think she can do it. It's like, yeah, but you also do have a crush on this girl, so...
Yeah,
But I think it's great that he said that because I think that's what Six needed to overhear.
He needs to have confidence in her because he's the love interest. But we do need somebody there with a sense of reality where they're like, oh, this girl just learned how shoes work. I've seen her battle with boots. She's going to have trouble fighting this guy to the death. And they're like, no, she's got this. Magic diviner. She's going to kill it.
And I think I misrepresented chapter 15 there a little bit. They're headed to this ceremony. It's not that the ceremony has happened. This is about the journey to the fervent peaks in a mountain slide.
Maud's titties.
A mountain sprite made... Why do I have that he's made of slate? That doesn't make sense because he eats slate. What a silly note. Because...
What a silly note.
The mountain sprite, he's huge. I was imagining him as the big rock dudes in Breath of the Wild, where it's big and bulky rocks chasing after him, but in a way of it's kind of like a boar on all fours and it's like trying to run at him.
Again? The Titus? Something like that?
I don't remember. I put in...
Rock Titus.
Put in the book club. Let me find it. It has the name in the screenshot.
Talus. Stone Talus.
There we go. That is what
right?
it is. Yeah,
nice.
It is. That's how I'm imagining this creature. And I love some of the other ideas that people had in how they imagine these scenes going. Somebody else said, does anyone remember Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs Part 2? The cheese spider that they encountered, that's how I imagine the mountain sprite. And it's the spider cheeseburger. It's like huge and whatnot. Which
the Flunstaflometer. I love that movie.
And then another person, they said that they pictured the mountain sprites like the scarier version of the guy from the Never Ending Story. And it's this creepy rock mountain thing.
What was the white dog thing's name?
I never really watched it.
Really?
Like, I'm familiar with what that is because I've seen enough screenshots, but I never watched that.
Oh, man. We're going to watch that. For some reason, I remember that being a great movie.
It looks terrifying. And especially this mountain thing that she shared. I'm like, that is creepy. And that's a great imagery of this thing. And while the mountain sprite is coming after Benji, Six, and the gargoyle is like, oh, look, it's coming our way. Just like, oh.
And they get flung.
Yeah.
Like, easily one of my favorite moments. They get flung from the chariot as that thing attacks.
And it eats a horse.
Yeah. So it doesn't eat just Slate.
No, it doesn't. And I absolutely love that one of our book club members is like in the little trivia question that I posted. And I gave an option of slate, limestone, sandstone, and granite. And the answer is slate. Because at the end of this chapter, she asked Rory outright, like, what's going on? He's like, it's starving. And she's like, well, what does it eat? Well, it eats slate from up in the mountains. But the royal noble family and all the people that are up there obviously are banishing them down lower where they can't get their food. And just like you, she's just like, well, they also eat people and horses.
Do you think that this would have been a great promo for a dog food commercial?
What? Why?
It used to be made of horses.
Ryan.
You didn't know that?
Well, yeah, I did. I mean, oh, no.
He picks up the horse and all I see is a big bag of blue buffalo or something there.
Oh my God, no.
Iams.
How did you imagine the mountain sprite?
It's kind of a blend of those things. I pictured like, do you remember the Hercules movie, The Titans?
Yes.
Yes. So
that's huge.
Yeah, well, that's initially what I thought it was. It picks up a horse with its hand.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like, it's got to be huge.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what I imagined. Was something big and monstrous like that. It flips the cart thing until she kind of slays it. And then I'm like, oh, never mind. It's not as big as I thought it was.
So I think that it must fling their little group. Benji gets pinned under some type of rock and they need to unclasp his armor. But that's all bent and broken. The thing is coming for them. The knights are coming with their whips and trying to make loud noises and it's not working. And she has her hammer and chisel, and she does this huge hit. And I think it's to his armor, or was it to the sprite?
I think it was to the stone that was on top of him.
Oh, okay. Because I was like, I thought rock broke with it. There was something about that.
Yes. Yeah, I think she broke the rock that was pinning his leg.
Oh my God. What if this whole thing ends with her taking the hammer and chisel and breaking all the stone items?
Which I think should be what happens, or, bear with me, they get their stone items. The abbess is still an uber badass. We don't know what their item would be, what her item would be.
I think it's the stone and chisel.
Well, I'm saying she may have another item. If she gifted that one to Six,
right,
there's a chance that she has one that also is capable of teleportation as well as some method of destruction.
Well, I thought this one's only in destruction mode because she doesn't know how to use teleport mode on it yet.
It totally could be. She throws it in the air. But what I think would be neat is the reason why all of these sprites are starving are because of the omens, right?
You think that? I thought it was just because humans suck and they're living in areas where the sprites need food.
The omens banished the sprites.
Yeah, that's why they all came together. Yeah.
Yeah, the omens are currently, that's why they're prayed to. What they do is keep the humans and the sprites semi-separate.
Oh.
So, I think for them to gang up against the abbess, they're going to get with these sprites and make a sprite army as well.
I like it.
To go and take on Aisling Cathedral's
and
stronghold.
The oarsman said a really sad line about his
We haven't met the oarsman yet. We have to wait.
No, we didn't. But he was like talking about how he keeps them fed and they listen, or them being starved with the idea of being fed.
Yeah, gives them just enough. That's what reminds her of the love that she got from the abbess. Gives them just enough to keep them loyal.
Yeah, it's super sad. But chapter 15 ends with Maud being thankful for Six saving Benji. And she gave her her armor. And I think that Six is wearing all of the armor except for the shoes and a helmet.
I don't remember a discussion of the helmet. There may be one.
There was a reason she needs to take off the shroud in order to see.
She's probably not going to do that.
So I don't think she's wearing the helmet. Are you listening to music?
Yeah.
What are you listening to?
You want to hear?
We all can't hear, but you can tell us about it.
Well, you can hear.
So it's Young Gravy and the I Feel Good song. What is that?
It's super good.
Well, it was just super good.
Super Good is the name of the Young Gravies. It's a remix of I Feel Good by James Brown.
What type of songs do you associate with this book?
Ooh, it depends on the part of the book. Remember the Shrek soundtrack worked really good for the first part?
What Shrek? What?
All of the Shrek
The
soundtrack.
entire piece?
The entire Shrek soundtrack worked really good for the beginning.
No!
And then I had the Proclaimers for when they started their little journey to the Oarsmen.
What's the Proclaimers?
I would walk 500 miles.
Oh, yeah, I like that song.
Yeah, I think that was kind of a killer. I would walk 5. And it's not really the point of it. It just seems like a good song to be walking to.
When I think of that song, I just think of that proposal. Do you remember it? He does little verses everywhere they want.
Insanely romantic.
Incredibly.
Not like that one proposal, though.
Yeah, we saw another one, and it actually made me cry. I think those are the only 2 proposals I've cried to.
I left a comment on that video that nobody's ever going to see, including them, because I was so moved. And, you know, I don't generally comment.
That was the one where he surprised her with a photographer who was pretending that he just thought they were a beautiful couple, wanting to take photos of them.
It does not hurt that they are legitimately a good-looking couple.
Yes.
Like, they're just beautiful mid-20s in New York, wealthy people.
They go into this orchestra-like area, and it's filled. The stage is filled with candles. And she's like, oh, why do you think you picked us? Do you think it's because we're hot or something like that? And it was just so adorable. And the guy is mic'd up and she doesn't know it and they're talking to each other. Then the photographer says, oh, you know what would be really great is if we have a band, like this orchestra. They were tiny.
The orchestra, the whole point of why everybody is there that
like
evening
6
is that orchestra. And he's like, for our promotional photos, we want you 2 in the front with the orchestra playing behind you.
And they come down, they start playing, and the cutest thing, the part that made me cry, was him warning her that he's about to propose. He's like, I'm going to let you know I'm about to propose to you. I'm like, oh, that was so cute. And then she starts like, no way, no way. And she's panicking, and his first thought wasn't to propose. It was to calm her down and to just be in the moment with her. The microphone fell, and it's just those 2. And then when she's feeling good and he knows that she's ready, that's when he gets down on one knee.
Yeah, he killed it. Every part of that dude, what he did was perfect. The only problem with this guy was he was blonde.
What?
Can't be a shadow daddy if you're blonde.
Well, he doesn't need to be a shadow
All
daddy.
of our romantic interests have to have dark hair, brooding eyes, and sort of a whimsical carelessness. And he didn't have any of that. He seemed very nurturing. Okay, I've been called a golden retriever. Not even a little bit. I'm like a Doberman compared to that guy. That guy is perfect. That young man is going to make her so happy. I hope that they make each other so happy, but I can't remember what I wrote exactly in the comment, but it was basically something to the effect of, like, if you just keep putting in this effort, you're going to have the most magical relationship. Like, it's just, it's so heartwarming.
It was.
And to see wealthy people put effort in and not just hire, like, obviously there was quite a bit of money involved in this proposal.
But it was so personal. It wasn't big rock. It wasn't this big, well, it was a big
it was
show.
a big rock. You could see the ring from 20 seats back. To be fair, it was a big rock and a private song called Avatar's Awakening or something like that, which had special meaning to them because it was the first song that they had, like, I guess decided they loved each other too. I don't fucking remember. But that's how he clued her into the fact that it was going to be a proposal too. She's like, oh, they're playing Avatar's entrance music or whatever the fuck. And he's like, yeah.
Yep.
They played this at this time. I know you were wondering when I was going to propose. I'm going to propose to you right now.
It was so freaking cute. Speaking of cute, let's see what Rory's up to.
I like what you're up to. I think you're pretty cute.
In chapter 16, this is when Six and the crew actually met with this noble family, the royal family. And while they were meeting there, I don't quite understand. I didn't have much imagery in this. I know that Benji's mom was there. And they started questioning him and his
Wait, hold
goal.
on. Benji's mom?
Yeah.
Harmish, whatever the other night guy was. It was his mom.
Did you re-listen to your chapters?
I did.
Oh, God damn it. I thought it was Benji's mom in the noble family.
I don't think so.
Why would his mom be there?
It could be Benji's
it was
mom,
Hamish's
but
mom?
it was, Hamish or whatever that guy's name is.
How was his mom there? The guy that she took to the grass and he fucked up?
Yeah.
That guy?
Yeah. The knights are also quite a regal position. At least I believe that's true. I believe his mom was there.
Well, either way, the majority of this scene was Benji
Benji's parents are dead.
Hey, what? That makes sense. Yeah.
Because that's why Maud is like, I kind of took him in. She's like, when he was something age,
you're so
his parents fucked up or something and they're gone. His grandpa had left him. Technically, Benji was in his grandpa's care, I think, for a while. Doesn't matter.
Because 6 mentions to Maud of her being a motherly figure. That would not make sense if Benji had a mom.
Yeah. And she's like, I'm not really like maternal, but also these are my boys.
Okay, yeah, all right. I should probably re-listen to that, but what's done is done.
I'm going to re-listen to this whole book.
What I keep trying to say, though, is somebody is questioning Benji's motives, especially given the 5 bad omens that he received. He's like, yeah, but look, I have a diviner with me and I have their blessing. And they start questioning that, saying, well, we don't think so because of the omens that you got. And I think 6 tries standing up for herself, saying who she is or something to that effect. But then the gargoyle puts an end to it.
Okay, both the gargoyle and I think Rory. I don't remember if this is Rory or Benji. But the gargoyle comes in and he's like, oh, you silly fuck. Who do you think you are? This is a diviner. By questioning her, you're actually questioning Astling. Is that something that you really think you're capable of doing? Because you don't fuck with her. She's better than you. Like, it was just
he did do that.
Straight up in their face. I don't remember if it was Benji or Rory that says, clearly, if you've offended them, they have the right to take whatever. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I'm skipping scenes. Because they also bring up, if you attempt to peek under her little eye covering, her shroud, they are legally allowed to handle this situation however the fuck they want to. She and the gargoyle will handle it, and there will be no consequences for them. And the gargoyle's like, fuck yeah, homie. I'm ready to eat somebody. Like, it was just so sick.
Do you remember then how we get from that scene down to the water and what happens down at the water?
Yes. So they go to the ball. Their whole plan before the ball thing is they're like, hey, Rory, you're going to take this diviner girl. You guys are going to run up the little hillside thing, hide out, throw the water out, see if you can find this fella. And Rory tells her, if you wanted me alone, all you had to do was ask. And she's like, oh, frustrated. Maud's like, listen, I'm going to need you two to quit grab-assing for just a minute. We got real business to do. And they're like, yeah, no, it's fine. She's like, it's just recon. Don't do anything stupid. They're like, no, don't worry about it. We don't do stupid things. They proceed to go do stupid shit. They sneak off. They decide they're going to follow the oarsman. They see him go, fachoo, and he teleports his way up the water or to the top of the hill. I don't fucking know what he does. Staff and waterfall.
When I heard this scene, I thought of Breath of the Wild when you get that suit and you can just swim up waterfalls.
Just the Dorian armor?
Yeah, where you're in the water, you have to swim up to the base of the waterfall, and then you hit a button, and then you just, like, swim like a little dolphin up in, like...
This is my favorite, is if they did it straight up just salmon upstream style, just flip-flapping up there.
But yeah, he's riding on the oar, and it's like a little surfboard.
But not the way that you're thinking of.
What? No, I don't want to imagine.
Riding that oar, no. Just grinding on that bad boy.
Or he rides it like a witch broom. He puts it between his legs.
And then he keeps grinding on a little bit. The oar is getting very, very thin.
No.
As it moves down because his sweet muscular thighs have just rubbed it all to... It's like a toothpick in the middle. It's a wonder if it's still there.
I don't think this guy's ripped. I think he's like all gross and pathetic.
Well, he seems to be old.
Yeah. Eyes made of stone.
You know what else is made of stone?
Nope. We're continuing on. So they get there. He goes up. Oh.
And they go down? Tell me more. What are they doing to this magic oarsman?
And I remember a little bit of the scene because they don't know what's up there, how to get up there. She offers that she tells him he should throw his coin. He's like, what? No, I can't throw it that far. And they have the gargoyle go up there. He flies up there. And he comes back down. He's like, there's nothing up there, nothing of importance. There's like trees, water, castle. I mean, it's absolutely nothing.
And our diviner's like, fuck it, we're going up. And Rory also is like, man, this guy, fucking insane. Oh, I don't remember what it is he says, but the gargoyle says something else. And Moth looks at him like he's fucking stupid. And she's like, he takes some getting used to.
Wait, is Maud with them? I thought this was
I said this was something I was forgetting from earlier.
Oh, okay. I was like,
in this moment, it's kind of
great.
uneventful. Everybody grabs everybody and he flies them to the top. Well, Rory holds on a little longer than he should.
Yeah. Doesn't let her go. And then I think she like turns around and they have long eye contact.
There's another good song for that.
What's that?
I'll Never Let You Go.
No.
You know what I'm talking about?
I think what I'm thinking of is not the right song.
Sing to me what you're thinking of.
I don't want to sing. It's embarrassing.
You can always cut it out. You're actually the editor.
But it doesn't make sense.
I'm thinking of Third Eye Blind.
I don't know the names of bands.
All right.
Actually, I think I thought of I'm Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley. Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. I don't even think that's right.
No, so far you're good. What's the next part?
Something and hold me? No.
Oh.
Never gonna give you up. Never gonna let you down. I don't know it. I don't know the words. Oh, this is your song. That makes me think of like every 90s or early 2000s teen movie.
What do you think this would be if it were made into a movie? You think this would be something curated for the 45-year-old and the baby boomer? No, I don't think so. This is going to be a teen movie.
Not another teen movie.
Oh, that was a movie.
Yeah.
I don't remember it well. But that's where, what's his face? Chris, Captain America.
Yep.
Evans.
Yep.
Yeah, he was in that. That's it. That's all I had for that movie.
In my notes, I have... Oh, we didn't even talk about... We maybe did about Benji being baptized. He was down there for like an hour this whole time while doing this adventure.
We're slowly trying to give him the diviner treatment. They're like, if we leave him down just a little longer, he'll have dreams too.
And her and Rory, they talked about how he has compassion for sprites because they have never hurt or used him like humans. And they go on to talk about their relationships with other people. This is all stuff that we missed before the oarsman even chugged the water. So we kind of skipped quite a bit. But at the end of chapter 16, she asked him, are you in a relationship or any of these things? You into any nights? He's like, no. What about you? And she's like, no, but there have been some guys along the way, but none of them have been able to make me unravel. And then he says the line about, I'd like to see you unravel.
He does. And he would. I'm sure he would enjoy that. But this does bring another song to mind.
Oh, what's that? So Ryan just played this song. And this one's just like, I want to come, motherfucker. What's the name of that?
I love it. But it's by Lil Pump and name another problematic rapper who we're not supposed to listen to anymore.
Who?
He used to be prolific. Changed the rap game. It was him, Fergie, and Jesus.
Is this someone that
become very anti-Semitic and also an absolute lunatic?
I was going to guess Kanye. Yeah, I was wondering if that's who it was.
He is a fucking problem. We do not love Kanye anymore, but god damn it, he had some bangers. Welcome to Ryan's problematic episode. This book is awesome. The music choices we're going to pair with it, probably not.
So far, I think that one's really great. Really fitting.
Do you know what the second part of the lyric is?
Oh no, what is it?
You're such a fucking hoe. I love it.
Oh, yeah. You're such a fucking hoe. I love it.
Yes, exactly.
Well, that's not fitting. Never mind.
But the first part is...
Yeah, where she wants to come. And he's like...
We can tell him, motherfucker, I want to come.
Well, it's really sad that she hasn't. But I'm also kind of shocked in this moment. Like, whoa, you guys got comfortable.
Do you take his statement as a little bit cucky?
No.
He just says he'd like to watch her unravel. He doesn't say that he wants to be involved.
Well, I think it's assumed.
He's like, no. Well, maybe that's why he got mad at Hamish. Because Hamish didn't close the deal. She didn't get to come. And he was just watching in the bush. And then it all ended beforehand. And he blew all his way out of there. He's like, fuck this.
Stop it. You're ruining the moment for me. It was cute. Sexy.
It would have
awesome.
It was not sexy. Let's be real honest.
It was attractive.
Really?
Yeah.
This is such a 7th grade way of approaching relationships.
What?
Do you have a crush on anybody? Not really into you. What about the other nights? We're not allowed to do that. Well, you do things you're not allowed to. I would never do that. What about you? Do you like anybody? I've fucked a few. Yeah, no, they're all fucking weird.
No,
This is so dumb.
Keep going, do the rest of the scene.
That was pretty close to it. But I've never come before. I want to watch you come.
Wait, now you're going into
good.
Kermit. No, stop.
I want to watch you come. Yeah, no, I think it was not sexy to me. But what I will say, Rory is my favorite male love interest we've ever had yet. He's a great not even protagonist, male companion. We watched Doctor Who the other night. It's like she's the doctor and he's the companion.
Oh, yeah. Well, kinda.
She doesn't really know where they're going.
I was gonna
She
say.
seems often confused, but that sort of reminds me of Doctor Who.
So chapter 16 ends with the oarsman chugging the water. They then follow him up a steep climb. Rory grabs the gargoyle, and she covered the gargoyle's mouth at some point, and he tried, like, biting her. And she's like, stop that. And they flew up. They're up there. The castle was the same one from her dreams.
Weird.
So is she having actual dreams of each of the omens?
Yeah.
Where they're at in time? Are they...
Well, their place, yeah, the thing that they are overseeing. Yeah, I believe she's dreaming of the omens.
I don't think I'm understanding this question that she posed forever ago. How am I able to have dreams about these items or continuously, repeatedly, and all that?
It's a fucking world of magic, and this is her question? How are the gargoyles speaking? They're made of rock.
Well, there was a reason behind it. Dang it.
I have a goddamn I have a rock bat that flies. You're going to tell me right now that the most unbelievable thing is she's having reoccurring nightmares while drowning in a magic stream?
No, I remember what it was. Because they're not gods, how is she having dreams of them?
They are magic. The same magic that came from the water in which she's drowning in.
I'm wondering if she's not having dreams of these people, these men, but she is having dreams of the objects, which are magical. Because they're just, what is the stone item doing? She's just having dreams only of that stone in these locations.
True. I believe that stone is forged from the same rock from where she's getting this magic water.
Yeah, the limestone.
Yeah.
Gargoyle bathwater.
Yeah, gargoyle bathwater. So I don't see it as weird. I don't know. I think there's so many weird things in these books that I'm not looking at this as strange. But also, I don't think she's not our Nancy Drew yet.
Well, no, because then they go and they follow him. They're sneaking around. They come up to a door and they're like, well, how do we get in? The gargoyle's like, we could just knock. And they do. They knock on the door and I think they go in.
Yeah, he lets them in.
Yeah. And they get into this whole conversation. He knows where the diviners are. I'm not convinced that he actually does. Or do you think he actually knows?
Yes. Yeah, I think they do because I think they're being fed the diviners.
Why didn't the last one act like he knew anything about what's going on?
He lashed out at the end because he was so upset not being the smartest guy in the room.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He had his little tantrum moment, and this dude's probably going to have a similar moment. Because imagine, otherwise he's like, no, they're just like a couple miles down the road in this cabin. Book comes to an end.
Well, in this, they followed him into a room with a ton of gold that was given to him from the abbess. And she keeps paying him and paying him, I'm assuming, to continue his role of what? What is his role other than to be this figurehead?
Well, also, they keep the sprites and shit starving and out of the township.
Oh, yeah,
like they have their own role.
And I have the quote, you have not come to me like one of Ashleen's treasures. And I started thinking that maybe you were right, that you didn't come to me like you guys usually do.
You're still breathing. Weird.
And then she gets kidnapped again, and the oarsman says he knows what happened to the diviners. Rory challenges him, and Rory wanted 3 days to prepare.
He says something more interesting to me.
Oh, what's that?
He says that he knows where they come from and also where they end up.
Know where you come from? Where'd
you go?
Yeah.
Cotton Eye Joe. He starts Cotton Eye Joe. Just stomping his foot. That would be awesome. But no, I think just calling them foundlings is sort of dismissive to where they've come from. And if they're raising hundreds of kids for the sole purpose of getting 6 of them, there must be something special every few hundred kids.
Oh, I was taking it as all of these kids are parentless, all these foundlings, and they just take advantage of the vulnerable by going there and taking 6 kids. That it's not that they're special in any way, it's that they're vulnerable and easy to manipulate.
I think all 6 or all few hundred of those kids, you're going to find way more than 6. That would be easy to manipulate.
Yeah, maybe they don't need that many. They only need 6. And
so why are we feeding a few hundred kids out of a kindness of the abbess heart? No way.
Oh yeah, because she's paying for that place.
They're all run by Astling. Every one of those little orphanages.
Yeah, why keep paying?
That's
Other than to be in good graces when you want to steal another 6.
Which you do every 10 years?
Is it really 10? I don't know. I don't think she knows how old she is.
No, but one of them was counting down the days.
But I thought you thought that she was really old and not 10.
I think 6 has been reincarnated several times.
Oh.
Yes. I don't think...
You think reincarnation into...
young body. I think they drowned her the first time. I think she's got dueling personalities because she let go of her real name, Catherine O'Hare, or whatever it was.
Sybil.
Sybil Mockingbird.
Okay, close enough.
Sybil Constellation. It starts with a C, I think, also.
I don't remember the last name. I just know Sybil.
Doesn't matter. So she was Sybil, and then she's like, I let go of Sybil. That's not who I am anymore. And then, yeah, I disagree. I don't think that she let Sybil go. I think Sybil got buried and drowned. And eventually she was just 6.
Oh.
And now she's like still kind of Sybil. Sybil's like hanging on by a thread in her brain.
Interesting. I don't have any thoughts. None of it makes sense to me yet.
Oh, none of it makes any sense to me. And that's why I'm just poking little theories.
All needs to be spoon-fed to me for me to get a theory. I'm like, oh, that's a theory. Well, no, that was given to you, that information.
You think she actually saw the oarsman's castle in her dream? I do believe that. Because when she was talking with Maud. I haven't thought of Maud in forever, and I can't get her name out now.
I think when I was asking that question, it was more, is it like a vision? Or is she like actually mentally transporting to these locations to check in on the objects?
D, all the above.
Oh. Well, to end on chapter 17, I have like this short little bit of a note that Rory may have challenged the oarsman, but the oarsman is actually challenging Six because she's the one that wants information about the diviners. And now she needs to train, and she has 3 days.
You're missing a very important part of this.
Oh, what's that?
Rory, well, she's taken by the oarsman for a while, held hostage, just like the other one did. And he's creeping on her.
Yeah.
She's not in love with that idea.
No.
He gets hit with her hammer, and he licks his own blood and has like a little orgasm over it.
Yeah, what the hell was that?
He had some of the water earlier. It's in his blood too now, and he's just...
That's so gross.
Yeah, they're nasty. That's it. That's all I had. But it's going to come up later why this is important. Because Rory says the cutest thing later.
What's he say?
When he's training her, he's like, you need to move faster. Get your ass moving, because if he can't touch you, he can't grab you, and I never want him to touch you again.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was all excited.
In chapter 18, Six and them are all back at whatever little camp they're at, whatever place Benji's event was going on. She's struggling to put on shoes. She's incredibly loud while she's doing it. They're lace up. I thought the shoes that they got, are they like a fabric shoe?
Well, they're a boot. It's like a leather boot.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I'm just ridiculous.
No, you're okay.
I was picturing like a wrestler shoe for some reason. I don't know why.
Wait, don't wrestlers wear lace-up shoes?
They have lace-ups, but they don't have like a sole on the bottom. I don't know why I pictured it that way.
Oh, I see what you mean. I imagine it's not like a rubberized sole on the bottom. I imagine it's just thicker fabric to prevent your feet from being hurt.
Okay, so a little closer to a wrestler shoe
But
then.
she's got nasty, gross, dirty-ass, smelly feet.
They're now finally covered. Took 18 chapters. You got it.
Okay, and the gargoyle wakes up to her in her nonsense playing with her boots. And he's like...
Boots with a T.
Yeah, isn't that what I said? She's playing with her tits. And there he was, watching her, and he's like, bested by laces. But he says the funniest thing. The gargoyle says, now I know that we're losing some of our faith here, but you being bested by laces does not bode well for what we're doing. And I just thought it was so funny to me.
Then I think Maud comes in and she helps her.
Yeah, she gets a small team of people because Maud comes in, she's like, you're a dummy. No. By the time she walks out, Rory's like, hey, you're wearing those boots I got you. Mm-hmm. And she's like, you didn't give me these boots, Maud did. He's like, no, okay.
Whatever you say.
Yeah, you fucking dummy.
Oh, I bet he paid for everything.
Yeah, but isn't the whole thing he's penniless? Isn't that what somebody says?
What? No.
I thought somebody in our group said that he was penniless. I'm like, no, he's secretly rich.
Okay, someone made a comment about Rory's broke as fuck. But
he spent all his money on her shoes? No, that might be the sweetest thing we've ever heard.
It's more like he came from nothing.
But then he stole what he had. And then later, well, he stole things. And then somebody's like, hey, you're good at stealing. You could be a good squire.
And now he's making good money. And he paid for her shoes. And he paid for her clothes. And he paid for her armor.
Yeah, so he's no longer penniless.
I don't know if all that's true,
like,
but I'm going to think
when he was a child, he was penniless? Yes, most children do not have an abundance of wealth. No. As an adult, he's been quite well-to-do.
Well, she finally gets her shoes on, and then Rory goes and trains her.
Rory takes notice of her shoes. This is an important note.
Yeah.
Because then she's like, you know, man, sexy shoes. And she's out walking around.
She's struggling with walking.
Yeah. Well... Also, her armor. Did we discuss her armor?
No, not really. I don't think she has the helmet on, is all that I imagined.
Right. Maud just got this stuff back from the blacksmith, I think.
Yeah.
After their run-in with the mountain goblin sprite thing, which was like a boar. That's the other thing. It was not all the things I imagined. They specifically say it was like a rock boar.
Yes.
And it eats a horse.
Yep.
Doesn't have hands. Any Hoosier. Once they're done with that part, Maud's like, you performed well today. I'm going to send off your honey clothes to the armorer so he can get your armor made. It's like, oh, how wonderful. And Maud's like, also, you have fantastic measurements.
Oh my gosh, she did say that, didn't she?
Yeah. And Our Lady's like, you don't have to flatter me. She's like, there's nothing hidden in my words. I'm like, well, you could have just said nice tits, bro. It was kind of hidden in there. But it was very funny to me.
I forgot all about that. I can't believe I didn't make a note.
So it could have been the romance that I was looking for the whole time. Well, sexy older woman.
Well, what you did get for romance is her and Rory are training. They are in this sexy rain fight. And as they're fighting, she's then at one point on top of him and they're breathing. They're face to face. Her mouth is next to his. And she says that she can feel him harden underneath of her. And this whole time, I actually thought they were in their armor. I don't think so. You wouldn't feel his body harden underneath of you.
You could, because Rory has a prolific penis.
Such an ad. All right. Sexy rain fight. She's on top of him. She could feel him harden underneath of her. And
he slowly lifts her off using nothing but the magic of his huge penis. It flips the coin. And he teleports away. She's like, what are you doing with that? He's like, actually, I wanted you to get your hammer and chisel so you could fashion this into a cock ring.
That's so fun.
She's like, I'm going to need to take your measurements and busts out a thing of beeswax.
That's the fanfare we need.
The fanfare? Okay. All right. You know what? I'm here for it. We'll run that.
Oh, my God. Well, Maud walked up on them asking, you guys still sparring over there?
If he flipped it the other way, his penis could be called the Destroyer. It'll plow through anything until it loses momentum.
Oh, my God.
He's out here literally, he's like, fuck those omens. And at first, they're not worried. Then they see him disrobe. It's like the aprons, you know what I'm talking about, where like you flip it up and there's a big penis underneath?
Yes, I've seen that.
Imagine that, but instead it's just a cutout for his penis, and he's got that cock ring on. And it's in destroy mode. He's like, our duel will be one of legend. Prepare your ore.
My next note is she's given the coin to practice with. And she did amazing.
And he's like, I want to see you come undone. Or unravel, whatever the fuck.
Yeah. Well, then it gets sad because at some point they go to bed and she overhears Maud telling Benji and Rory she doesn't think Six can do it.
Because she's a reasonable human being.
And that Six will die before she ever gets a chance to live. But
And Rory, being dick drunk, says, "No, I have faith in her. She's going to be just fine."
I think Benji believed in her too, but it was pretty naive.
Benji's fucking dumb. He's 17. Like, I don't know. He's just became king. He's not known for great ideas. And Maud brings up a great point in this.
Which is?
The costs of, how does this work? Benji says she knows the cost. The cost of killing is the possibility of death.
Yeah.
And Maud says, that's really fucking easy for you to say because, Rory and I will do your killing for you.
That's exactly what that scene was. I couldn't remember it. That was one of my favorite Maud moments. Her comfort in telling him this and him taking it, it was amazing.
I like where Maud helps her with her boobs.
What?
The laces on her boobs.
What? That didn't happen.
You said boobs earlier. No,
you
whenever.
said boots and you were soft on the T, and I was clarifying.
Whoa, that's pretty mean. I wouldn't say I'm like estrogen forward, but soft on the T is arguably the meanest thing you've said to me in a while.
A minute to understand what you're
damn.
saying. And the gargoyle was talking in his sleep when she goes back, and she's struggling with falling asleep. Rory comes and he knocks on the door.
Does?
No, he walks up to the door. He knocks. She opens it
with his penis
in a loose tunic, and he invites her to a place that will help with restlessness.
You know what he's gonna do?
They're gonna fuck.
Yeah, he's like, I know just the place. There's some grass over there. I hear that's where you like to do it. Like a goddamn forest creature.
Oh my God. I wonder if it's going to be one of these scenes that she's always, taken to the grass type of thing. He's like, I'm going to treat you better. I'm going to get you a real bed type of thing.
And he puts it outside still. So it's like baby steps.
It reminds me of my first experience.
Did you fuck in the grass?
No. It was this.
Was it a bed in the back of a truck?
It was just ridiculous. He's like, I want to make sure that your first time is really memorable.
First of all, let's not shit on the guy. He was putting in some effort. He's 19 or 20. So.
Moved from the futon to his bed. And it was memorable, but memorable in the fact of, what the fuck am I doing? This is ridiculous. And I just remember him trying to make this experience memorable, and it was still so shitty. Like his effort he put in time to think about this is her moment. That's going to be there for the rest of her life.
Did he clean his room at least, or did it still smell like him?
Still, yeah, it was disgusting.
It was a bad play.
Gross. That's on me, really. If that's
literally,
on me.
It probably was a little bit.
But him taking the time to think about that, and his upgrade was from futon to bed.
It's the thought that counts.
So if there's a scene like this where she goes from grass to a bed, I don't know. I could see where I'm going to be.
If it makes you feel any better, the only person I ever remember sleeping with is you.
Oh, aren't you sweet?
You're my favorite.
If it makes you feel better, you're the first person that I had an orgasm with. Honestly, exactly how this story is going. I am 100% telling you the truth.
I know you think that, but I think you just forgot. His bed was magic, Adri.
Yeah.
It was all Axe body spray. And in fairness to him, though, again, 19, 20 years old.
I remember.
Because he was, he was a few years older than we were.
Yeah. I remember asking him or telling him like, oh no, it's so normal for girls to not have orgasms. And he's just like.
He told you that?
No, I told him this because I asked.
Gaslighting him.
I thought it was because I asked my friends and they also weren't having orgasms. I was like, oh, it's so normal. None of us are.
Are you sure they weren't trying to make you feel better, or did just nobody in that area know how to use their equipment correctly?
I don't.
They didn't know anything about girls.
No, they didn't.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And then he told me that, well, his ex did. And now in my head, I'm like, oh, okay. And I remember leaving. That did not offend me. I wasn't jealous of the ex. I'm like, oh, she's lying to him.
Or maybe she knew stuff. Like she convinced herself to get there. Or maybe he, for whatever reason, was just her puzzle piece.
That's got to be it.
I would
But
hope.
with moves like, let's move you from the futon to the bed, I don't know.
Sex is a lot like business. Location, location, location. And you do the first
that's
rule.
Actually so good.
Thanks.
That's perfect. I love it.
Okay. All right. You're pretty excited for a lady that went from a futon to a mattress.
Because I'm just like, yeah, location of everything.
You're not wrong. Oh, man, that poor fella.
Do you have any predictions? My predictions are based off of this past relationship of, she's never had an orgasm from previous partners. I'm like, I know what that's like.
Well, yeah, the rule of thumb, if you'd like it to happen again, make sure everybody's having fun. I think that's, if you're somebody who's not had sex yet, take this one and run with it. Make sure they're enjoying being there. And then make sure you know what the fuck you're doing with their body. You know what you're doing with yours. Don't be too concerned about your own shit. End of sex talk with Ryan. My prediction for what they're about to do is they're going to go outside. They're potentially going to go into like a pond or something that's very calm. Or they're going to sit out underneath the stars on a deck or a rooftop somewhere secluded. And they're going to share feelings. And then like a light hint of fucking might happen. But I think it's just going to be like a romantic kiss, leaving her wanting more so that she doesn't fuck him just before she potentially dies.
Oh, good call. I like that. But she can be a little aggressive. She might want this. Where she's just like, you know what? I know you don't want to move things forward, but like, I'm totally on board.
He uses his cock ring of destruction to blast her hand off of his junk. He's like, pow! You're lucky that was only 1/5 of my momentum.
It reminds me of the last series where the guy, he was like, that's not all these hands can do.
We never did actually learn more.
Yeah, we did.
We kind of did, but it wasn't like he did anything.
He could turn it into like a vibrator.
That was what he did the first time, where he's like, my hands can do more. That was the one trick he did.
Yeah.
They didn't like secrete anything fun. There wasn't. Yeah,
No.
like if it like secreted some like nice odor or something, like, oh, hey, this smells like daffodils or leather, whatever she's into.
I think it prompted the whole conversation that it's just going to be a nugget in a random episode of ours where you have your bionic penis conversation.
If I get a bionic penis, I'm going to post it on every social media platform we have. And they will know. They'll be like, he did
I would support you having an OnlyFans.
No, not an OnlyFans. People aren't paying for this.
Oh, you're doing it for free?
Yeah, it's just going to be like a ta-da. They're not going to see a picture of it on me. I'm just going to like set it here, charging.
Oh.
And then it's like, hey, it's in the episode.
Gross.
Ryan's penis.
What a great note to end on. I love you.
I love you.
You're my bestie.
You're my bestie. Open your legs and close your books. It's over.
No.
Thank you guys for supporting us. It's been a good time. If you'd like more,
follow us here, TikTok or Instagram. Fable, if you want to join our book club. Patreon, if you want episodes early.
Dropping on Tuesdays if you're into that sort of thing.
Oh, yeah. Episodes are releasing on Tuesdays. If there's a 2-parter, it's going to be on Thursdays.
We accept 5-star reviews and nothing less. If you leave something less, you're a motherfucker.
No!
Oh.
Honest reviews.
Not that honest. Only leave a review if you're willing to be a 5-star honest person. Should we come up with something mean to say to him on the way out? I kind of want to pick on him.
No, I would say love you. Bye.
Oh, you can tell him that you love him.
Okay.
I won't.
Love you guys before Ryan bullies you out of here.
I'm fine with most of you. I love you, bye. The Worst Smutty Podcast. The books, you're right. They may or may not be smutty. We read 3 Little Pigs, and one of them gets fucked. Get ready. It's not the one you think. Which one do you think is the sluttiest pig?
None of them.
I think it's the one in the brick house.
Oh, I was thinking the one with the hay.
I thought you would, and that's how I knew it. Because the twigs aren't sexy enough, the hay one's like, oh, please don't blow my house over. Yeah, no. That's sad that you would think that. It's the one in the brick house, because it's the one you wouldn't think.
This is the one that's getting paid and has money for bricks.
Whoa. First of all, it's a slutty pig, not a whore pig. This pig does it for the love of the game.